A quick note, just for those of you who do not know sheep well, I don't have a personal relationship with a sheep, but I have worked herding sheep as well as cattle. You do not ever leave 99 of a flock alone. You have an assistant shepherd, or you put the dogs in charge of them, where you go out and look for the ones that are missing. When I worked as a wrangler in Colorado, up in the mountains, we had the herds on winter on the summer feed, which means they were eating grass that was up to their bellies. And they were the happiest herd you could ever hear. And when it was time to go down out of the mountains, they were only on the winter grass for usually about 66 days, because it snowed at our level through the middle of June. And it started snowing and staying in the middle of August. We were about 9,500 feet. So we had to find those cows, those horses, and the sheep and get them back down the slope. But they all knew, don't screw up, because there's no tomorrow up here. So our lesson today is not on sheep, it's not on horses, it's not on cattle. You can write to me privately about that. Our lesson today is titled Learning by Encounter. Encounter and listening are not ends in themselves, leaving everything just as it was before. On the contrary, whenever we enter into a dialogue, we allow ourselves to be challenged, to advance on a journey with someone. And in the end, we are no longer the same, for we are changed by that dialogue. We are changed by being with that person, even if it is just a Zoom call. A certain rich man came up to Jesus as he was setting out on a journey, and he asked the Lord a crucial question. He said, "Good teacher, what must I do to inherit eternal life?" Now Jesus senses that this person before him is a good and religious man. He is obedient to the commandments, but he wants to lead the man beyond the mere observance of the precepts. Through a dialogue, Jesus helps the man to discern. Jesus encourages the man to look within, in the light of love that the Lord himself has shown by his gaze, and to discern in that light what this man's heart truly treasures. And in this way, to discover that he cannot attain happiness by filling his life with more religious observances, but by emptying himself completely, selling whatever he has, taking up the space in his heart, taking up the space in his life, and then making room entirely for God once he has removed all of the other things taking space where God should be. Now think about that. You look upon yourself. You do an inventory of your life. What is in your heart that takes up so much room that there is no more room for God there? I know one of the things in my heart are my kittens. I had someone challenge me the other day and say, if you had to leave right now, what 4 things would you bring? And I said immediately, I'd bring Claude, I'd bring Spade, I'd bring their food. Somehow. And they said, what is the fourth thing? I said, their food is 2 things. And they said, you would throw everything else away and just bring your 2 stupid cats? I said, I will not take offense at you calling my animals dumb. For you do not know better. You have never been loved or owned by a cat or a horse. All you know is the stupidity of dogs. So you can't understand what it is to be loved and owned by an animal that can think and talk and understand you. I said, an animal that has a mind of its own. I said, my cats talk to me, and I talk to them. I understand them fully. I said, sometimes I understand one of them better than the other. And they play games on me, and I joke with them. I said, I do one of the cartoon voices I use, and it drives them batty. But they drive me batty too. They go under the bed and bring the growly ball upstairs. Have a golf ball roll across the hardwood floor in the dark of the night. And the first time it happens and then hits the hardwood trim, you don't know fear like that. And then step on a narrow Beanie Baby when you reach the bottom of the stair. The Beanie Baby running underneath your foot, trying, diagonally. And it crunches as you step on it. I screamed. At that point, this was about 15 years ago, my brother was living with me with his 2 daughters, divorced. I would not lift up my foot to look because I did not want to know what was under my foot. He came out of his bedroom and started laughing. It was a Beanie Baby snake. Now think of what a Beanie Baby, the original Beanie Babies, what those would feel like underfoot. Oh, and the growly ball? It's a golf ball. Think of the sound of that rolling across hardwood floors. If you've never heard of it, get a golf ball and roll it across the floor. Talk about learning through an encounter. That is how I learn with Spirit. He will say something, and sometimes to me it is too distant for me. And he doesn't say the lessons. Jesus speaks it to me so directly. He teaches directly, whereas Spirit will be very indirect. So that you have to find the answers to what he's speaking about. But you can't always discern what he is speaking of. But I learn both ways. And the Spirit and the Lord both assist each other in teaching me. Sometimes they just want me to learn from one word and come back to them and have me tell them what that word has done in my life. Recently, the word has been abandonment. And then before that, it was perseveration. So they give me strong words, and they're painful words. But then I look in my life, I look in my heart, and I see where they sit. And I see the damage the thoughts do. And I let go. Before they asked me, I did not know that word was there. Look into your heart. Peace to all of you. See you tomorrow.